corn whiskeys. Okay, so I think I mentioned earlier the general concept. We're trying to make a corn whiskey that, oddly enough, tastes like corn. That sounds almost stupid to say out loud, but that has not been the American tradition to date. That's not the primary tasting notes you get, say, from bourbon. Or, in a way you get a lot of rye from rye, but it's more sort of the spiciness that comes from the fermentation of rye. It's a different distillation style. So this is the baby blue label. Let's see. There you go. Okay. So anything under 50% of ours, one thing that I'm really adamant about, we do not chill filter, okay? And it's not just that we don't chill filter. I mean, to some degree, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but to some degree, if it's not big enough to get caught in your teeth, I'm not really worried about it. To be perfectly honest, I'm not worried about your teeth. I'm worried about our bottling equipment. We're trying to get you as close as we can get you to what it would be like if I got the whiskey all melded together in a barrel at the right proof, just popping the bung off, sticking a blench down, and pouring you a glass. So if you see anything that, is little sea monkeys or snow or anything like that all has to do with the esterified alcohols, conglomerating with tannins and all kinds of things I'm going into, don't worry about it. If the whiskey tastes or smells bad, call me. Otherwise, don't call me. Don't worry about it. We're used to seeing this in wine. We're used to seeing this in beer. We're still having to break people in spirits. And it may be crystal clear. A lot of times it is, except for when it's not. Don't worry about it. It's like chill haze and all kinds of different things. It has moods. We have not euthanized the whiskey for your tasting enjoyment. We've gone out of our way to not euthanize the whiskey for your tasting enjoyment. Okay. That's the one that tends to do that the most. That's why I bring that up now. Tasting notes on the baby blue. The first thing, this more than anything, you're going to get a lot of masa corn. A lot of, if you're a tamale fan, you'll recognize it. It's not fresh corn, out of the field. It's like well-cooked cornmeal, sort of deeper, more refined, good tortillas. Good corn tortillas are first baked. The fruit's a little bit different. This is one also that kind of goes the other way. If you're a Scotch drinker that normally thinks that you don't like American whiskey, this is definitely one for you to try. Subtle. I'm not saying there isn't a lot of flavor there. I'm just saying it's very round, it's very oily, it's very approachable. Now, it's at 46%. That's as low as we ever go. Back to the non-filtered. You'll tend to not see anything below 46% in the market unless it's been chill filtered. That's not universally true, but in whiskey it's generally pretty true. And so that's why it's at 46%. I won't go on too much at length about the importance of water with whiskey. Add it, don't add it. There is nothing ever wrong with adding water to whiskey, and anybody who tells you that, you should just give them a disgusted look and walk away and just chuckle to make them feel really, really dumb. That's one of the main points. That's one of the reasons we can do things over proof, that we can do a cask-strength whiskey. And sometimes you might like to drink it like that. But you're eating coffee out of the bag. And so when people eat coffee out of the bag and tell me how strong the coffee is, of course you kind of look at it and you're thinking, yeah, it's as strong as it gets. Doesn't get any stronger than that. You can add water. It's allowed. So if you want to eat the coffee out of the bag, go for it. But if you don't add water, nobody's going to look at you cross-eyed. Nobody should look at you cross-eyed. Anyway, so you get the fresh corn. You're going to get a lot more sort of tropical fruit than you do necessarily stone fruit. I'm just giving you sort of general distinguishing tasting notes between these. Light notes of citrus, butter, popcorn is something that people say they get a lot. Fresh roasted popcorn, especially like the type you do, the old thing you put on the stove, or some of it, where you turn a little crank. That sort of deep toastiness, you get a lot of that in the baby blue. It's not really young bourbon, and this is the thing that I have to talk about more than anything. If you're expecting this to be a bourbon, you can be saying, man, this is some messed up bourbon. It's not nearly brown enough. It's not nearly this enough. And it's because it's not any of that. It's supposed to be a Texas corn whiskey, which is its own kind of style.